Buying a generic bookbinding starter kit is the single biggest mistake you can make, because they almost always include cheap paper that forces bad habits. Today, I'm stripping out the junk to show you the 5 bare minimum professional tools you actually need to start binding beautiful, archival quality hardcovers at home. I've dropped direct links to every specific item mentioned in the description below, so you can skip the cheap kits and get straight to crafting. This is the CS Osbourne No. 71 Bookbinding Awl, and it is the absolute heart of your workstation. You cannot bind a book without piercing clean holes through your folded paper signatures, and using a standard sewing needle or a cheap hardware store awl will just shred the paper or give you sewing stations that aren't aligned. This specific model uses a diamond point blade that is designed to slip between paper fibers rather than tearing through them, which preserves the structural integrity of your pages. You can pick one up for about $10 to $15, and the most important thing to look for is a handle with a comfortable stout diameter. Cheap tapered handles will wreck your hand after just one book because you have to apply significant downward pressure to pierce heavy text blocks or bookboard. The next item on this list is the one nobody tells you about, and it will completely change how your pages feel. You need a Teflon Bone Folder, which is the tool you will use for every single step from folding your paper down to burnishing your end papers. Beginners often try to use an old credit card or a metal ruler, but you won't get crisp, professional folds without the rigidity and smooth edge of a true folder. While traditional bone folders are classic, you specifically want a Teflon one for about $12 because real bone can leave behind shiny, oily slick spots on your paper that look dirty and amateur. Teflon is completely non-stick, meaning when you get to gluing your cover material, it won't drag or pull up the wet adhesive, making it infinitely easier to position book cloth without wrinkles. Make sure you get a standard 6-inch length. Anything shorter won't give you enough leverage to score heavy bookboard for your cover. The third essential is a spool of 18/3 waxed linen thread, and this is where you absolutely cannot substitute craft store items. You might be tempted to use dental floss or standard embroidery thread because they are cheap, but those materials will rot, stretch out over time, or actually cut through your paper signatures like a cheese wire within months. This specific thread weight is heavy enough to be durable for a lifetime of reading, but light enough to not bulge the spine, and the pre-applied wax coating is crucial because it provides the necessary friction to hold your kettle stitches tight without the knot slipping loose. A spool will run you about $10, and one concrete buying tip is to buy a neutral color like white or black for your first projects. Dyed threads can sometimes bleed color into your paper if you get your sewing structure a little too wet with humidity. You need a bottle of Jade 403 PVA Glue, which is the industry standard for bookbinders because it dries flexible and clear unlike standard white school glues. Standard craft glues like Elmer's are far too wet and cause the paper to wrinkle or warp extensively as it dries, eventually drying brittle and cracking the first time you open the book flat. Jade 403 is pH neutral and archival, meaning it won't yellow your pages over time, and it has a longer open time, giving you a solid 30 to 60 seconds to position your cover cloth before it grabs hold. It costs about $15 for a bottle, but the critical thing to verify is the 403 formulation on the label. Other archival PVAs exist, but Jade 403 has the specific elasticity required for a book spine that needs to flex open and close thousands of times without snapping.